All right, so here we are. We are just days away from Election Day. How are you feeling as we come down to the finish line here?
I'm feeling quite all right. I feel kind of good. I appreciate a lot of the conversations that I've had with the citizens of District 19. And I believe that I've cultivated good policies, going forward to write legislation that will benefit my constituents here in the district.
When you speak with people that live in the district, what are some of the biggest concerns that they've raised to you?
Some of the biggest concerns that have been raised are, well, number one, I'm an educator, so education really is at the forefront. That is a huge topic. Again, another huge topic is maintaining coming up with some kind of solution for the mental health epidemic that we have here in the country. Again, as an educator, we do deal with violence in the schools. So, how do we kind of alleviate some of that violence? Also, um, being able to have adequate health care systems, especially in the rural areas. I can tell you, I teach in somewhat of a rural area. A lot of the residents here have to drive out far. The nearest hospital is maybe 30 miles. So that's also kind of a concern for my constituents. Um, Another issue that has come up is the abortion issue. A lot of people have been asking me, what is my stance on the abortion issue? And I was just going to tell you straightforward. My stance with the abortion issue is that is a decision between the the female, their medical providers, and their loved ones. So that's kind of where I stand with that.
We know that the decision to overturn Roe versus Wade and access to medical care for women is certainly one of the driving issues in this election, whether it's statewide, federal, national. If you are to win this election and you head on up to the Capitol, what's the number one or number two issue that you'd like to tackle right away?
Well, right away, uh, being near and dear to my heart is education, and knowing that our children are essentially our future. Um, I want to work towards goals towards improving education, addressing the mental health situation, especially with our young people. I don't want mental health to be as a stigma, a bad stigma, or some kind of a taboo, because we all kind of, deal with things in our own ways. Um, so, in order to alleviate a lot of the violence in this country, I do think we'll need to tackle mental health first and foremost. Um, Dealing with a lot of the social anxieties and somewhat being antisocial. I want to move towards legislation that'll free up monies from the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act that'll go into some of the general education funding. I would like to look for ways to do that. I would also like to find ways to, with the special education, um, move those funds to where more general education students can benefit from it. So essentially expanding the funding to satisfy the needs of all students.
Since you're an educator, I think this question will hit home. I remember during the height of the pandemic and when we learned that students were going to be home. I'm originally from New Jersey, and there was a lot of talk about the digital divide, particularly for students in the cities, Newark, Patterson, Jersey City, how a lot of them didn't have an iPad, a laptop, access to internet connection. I know you're in a rural area. Is there still a digital divide that needs to be conquered? How is this working with you and your students on a daily basis?
I would say that there is still a digital divide. Being able to reach, broadband services in certain areas is still a bit of a challenge. I can tell you that as an educator in a rural area, computer literacy is also another challenge. So if you don't have the device, then when it's brought into the classroom, the students are struggling to use those devices. So that's another aspect of the digital divide.
A lot of times when we turn on the news, particularly national news, we hear from senators representing a state, or we hear from members of Congress that represent a large city, Chicago, New York, and their voices are amplified. Do you think that West Texans need more of their voice to be heard in the Capitol? Do you think maybe the issues of West Texans, people living in rural communities, aren't being amplified enough?
Me, ultimately, that's the only reason why I'm running is because I don't feel as if my competitor has done a fine enough job. I will tell you right now, I'm not here representing any other politician, above, top of the ticket. I'm not here representing any political party. Of course, I am a libertarian, though. However, what I'm here to represent are the people of District 19. That's what I'm here to represent.
Obviously, there is a lot of attention on our country's southern border. It's well documented what Governor Abbott and the state had done in Eagle Pass to try and cut down on the number of border crossings. I know immigration is one of the top issues listed up on your website. Where do you kind of stand on where we are right now as a country? And how do we kind of fix this problem of so many people coming across into the United States, whether they legitimately need help or some are trying to buck the system?
Well, from what I understand, a few months back, there was a bipartisan legislation that was agreed upon, but was yet denied. And it was turned down because of someone at the top of the ticket. Okay. I think that's sad. What that does is it demonstrates to me, constituent, that we're using these policies to make people become pawns. Okay. And if you really do care about something and you really want to benefit the people, pass the bill. You know, don't make it to where it's a political debate. Let's go ahead and solve the problem. As far as my policies go, I want to look at what is it that the United States is doing that is creating the problem. Okay, if we're doing something to exacerbate the immigration problems, then we need to fix it. We need to solve that problem on our end. If that means to work with other governments, then let's do that. I really, honestly, I don't have an issue with immigrants. I want all people to come here, legally. Uh, those individuals who are willing to follow the rules, yes, come on over. Um, though, however, people shouldn't feel as if they're forced to leave their countries, especially if it's due to something that the United States is doing. So I want to solve that way.
We know that the economy is another major topic. A lot of people say that they are struggling to pay bills, have to choose which bill to pay, which one not to. We hear the conversation all the time about inflation. How do we kind of help people economically?
That's a really good question right there. Helping individuals economically, again, I have to refer back to my current situation. Working in a rural area or community, uh, there's a lack of jobs. So, as their congressman, as my constituents' congressman, my responsibility is to bring those jobs back into the community so that I can help with the economy. It's all about bringing the jobs in. Um, I'll tell you right now that I'm not really a big fan of I would say, welfare. I understand it's needed, though. However, the country's going to do better when everyone's working. And so we've got to be able to find solutions to bringing in jobs into these rural communities. So that's, again, one of my responsibilities.
Thinking out loud here, we were talking about the tech divide in rural areas, computer literacy. Once again, just thinking out loud, maybe there's a way to bring some sort of tech companies into rural areas, and then you help the students learn about computers and the internet and all that. I am no expert on this, as
Yeah.
you can say. As you can hear, I'm saying help kids learn about computers, but I don't know, maybe that's one way somehow to try and attract tech companies to rural areas.
Yeah, but though, the thing is that the students need to have that foundational setting, So how do we get that foundational setting? If the school districts can't afford the tools for the students, then how do we move forward, without bringing in that big tech company and then starting from ground zero, So that would
Oh,
be the
oh,
issue there.
yeah, a lot of issues, a lot of tough issues to figure out, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Mr. Johnson, anything I didn't ask you or bring up that you wanted to get across at all?
No, not really. I mean, I really do appreciate the time. I want people to go out and vote for me. My name is Bernard Johnson. You go to Bernard Johnson for Congress.com. That's Bernard Johnson with the number 4, Congress.com, and reach out to me. I have my policies outlined. Feel free to reach out and ask me questions. I've also posted my phone number on my website. So I want the people of District 19 to contact me and get in touch.